So today's topic is what are our least productive mango varieties? And of course this is a great question because you don't want to plant a tree and, have a beautiful tree and no fruit or very little fruit. But of course, the conditions that are on your property are very important to the productivity of a lot of varieties, including these. And so make sure that you know what conditions, what your humidity is, what your soil type is, and factor that into, like your decision of whether to grow or not grow any of these varieties. Also important would be, how many other varieties you grow, because it's easy to add a tree that you really love but is known to be not very productive when you have a sure source of quality mangoes from other trees. So anyway, in our situation, we're close to the ocean, we're fairly warm, and we have deep sandy soils. In the western part of the county, they have more mucky soils. It's wetter and colder. So some of these varieties have gotten their reputation for being poor producers from other areas in Florida. So number one on our list, though, is Alfonso. And Alfonso is a big tree and has small, very tasty mangoes. But our experience has been, it's been a very shy producer. We had a good year last year, but every other year has been pretty shy. And there are people that report the same things from all, from Broward County, Dade County, and other parts of Palm Beach County. So it's that's a pretty sure one that you're not going to be able to give lots away to neighbors. Then Julie, on the other hand, is a very small tree, but also known as a poor producer in Florida. It flowers tons, and of course it helps a lot with Julie to have pollen from another variety, but still it doesn't ever break branches. There's never enough fruit on the tree to break a branch. Then the third one on the list is this, which is our Moldova tree. And this tree is very large because it's very old. And Moldova has the reputation of having a strong year like every 15 years. We've had fruit every year, it could be just one branch here or there, but the whole tree fruits maybe once every 15 years. Then Pettigrew is the next one on the list, and Pettigrew is actually a seedling of Moldova, and it got that little poor producer thing, I guess, from its mother. It's a nice tasting fruit, but you don't get very many of them each year. Then Gary is the next one on the list. Gary's a lovely mango. It happens to be a cross between Cary and Pettigrew, so we're getting a lot of related varieties in this least productive category. Gary, we had a great year this past year. A lot of mangoes and actually like 2 different crops of them. But Gary has a reputation of not being a productive variety. So that's one that you probably, if you want to try it out, it's a great variety. Very popular taste and texture, it's fairly small fruit. And of course it's a parent of, usually the pollinating parent of many of these new varieties that have come out. So Gary's an interesting variety to try, if you have the room to plant it, but it might not give you lots of mangoes. A new variety that's on the list of poor producers is Pineapple Pleasure. Now, Pineapple Pleasure, for us, it was a small tree, like just about 6 feet tall, a little bit over possibly, and we had a very nice year this last year. But it's known as being a poor producer. I don't know if it's going to be a good producer for us year after year, if this situation is better than other situations that it's grown in, or what the story is. Well, time will tell, but that's known as being a poor producer. Another variety that we have that had a crazy good year this year is Ryan. Now, Ryan's on the list because the original tree down in Coconut Grove, I believe, is right near Key Biscayne. Seems like it would be a good location. It would produce like maybe one fruit a year, maybe four, and so a person that I know that worked at Four Phillies Farm, which is where it originated, he worked there for years, and I don't think he ever tasted the fruit. So that one has a very strong reputation for not producing, and yet our tree produced. Edward's an old variety that is on the list because it has that reputation. We have 2 Edward trees, and the tree in the front of the property is a pretty good producer. I'd say fair to good, somewhere in that range. And the one in the back of the property is a very good producer. So I would say for us, it depends on the little micro environment, and also we noticed a big increase in productivity after the trees got older. So I'm not sure what it'll be like in your particular situation, but those were 2 factors for us. Now, Jakarta is another variety that's known as a poor producer. And we have, I think it's 4 Jakarta trees. And our 2 main ones are very productive, have multiple crops, and one that was sort of being crowded out had very few fruit this year. But from our experience, Jakarta is not a poor producer, but it seems like from everyone else's experience, it is. So that's why it's on the list. And the final variety is lemon zest. And lemon zest, of course, is a seedling of lemon meringue or popuculai, and excellent fruit. It seems to be average productivity for us, but our trees are small, and of course our environment is a little different from other places in the county. What I have heard is that it does not do well in high humidity situations. So if you have mucky soils, that just holds the humidity in the area around the tree. Also, if you have more rainfall, it would probably not do well. So again, that's our list of 10 of the least productive trees, and it does depend on what your particular circumstance is. Sometimes it can even depend on what tree is near the variety that you're growing, because for instance, in the case of Julie, it likes pollen from another plant. So anyway, I hope that list was useful, and take it with a grain of salt, because that's our experience and what we've heard from other people in the area, and your conditions might be completely different.